The Bernie Sanders campaign has shared a new ad on social media, and this is something they have needed to showcase for quite a while. Watch.
I've spent my entire political life fighting for those people who do not have the wealth and the power, trying to do what's right. And that's really what it's about.
This is our nation, and we're not going to let a handful of corporations take it away from us.
Stop the war effort. Stop the military machine. We want decent education for our kids.
We can create a society where all people can have the health care that they need. Protecting our environment gives us the opportunity to create millions of new, decent-paying, productive jobs. We want the millionaires and the multinational corporations who have not been paying their fair share of taxes to start paying.
If we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Let us go forward together. Thank you.
I have been calling for an ad like this since 2016. It's just obvious. Since Bernie has had this record of consistency, of fighting for the same things his entire career, obviously you should put those clips into an ad and show Bernie's authenticity. They have finally done it. This is a fantastic ad, and it's a minute long, and the minute melts away. It feels like 30 seconds. But also, because it's a minute long, I'm not sure if they're going to put this on television. I hope they will. I think it's worth buying, two ad spots to stick this, or 2 time slots to put this into a full minute ad. But cut it down to 30 seconds if you have to, whatever. Stick this on television. Put his old clips into an ad. Put this on television in front of people who aren't normally on the internet, and you are going to see a boost in his support. I don't know why it's taken them this long to do this, but I'm glad they have finally done this. And they present it so perfectly. They showcase each of his positions, or I should say, several of his positions, of him fighting for the same things back then as he is currently fighting for now. This is how you win people over. Voters are tired of politicians lying to them. That's all they have seen. Trump is like just the perfect epitome of that, of somebody who just lied to their faces about helping them and is not helping them, never actually cared. But here you have somebody saying the same things for 40 years. This is the guy, a lifelong independent. I mean, this is what is so appealing about Bernie Sanders, and this is why he would bring a huge number of non-voters, traditional non-voters, out in a 2020 election against Donald Trump. Because he is a lifelong independent. He has fought for the same thing for 40 years. He is not attached to either party. He fights against the political establishment, the media establishment, the corporate establishment. I mean, you look at polling. Look at how people identify. The vast majority of people identify as independent. Many of these people don't come out to vote because they don't see a party representing them. But here you have a lifelong independent come out as the nominee, and you bring out a lot of these voters that have not voted for a while or voted ever. Not even to mention young voters. I mean, Bernie Sanders has the young vote locked down. They will not come out. Young voters will not come out for a Joe Biden. They will come out for Bernie Sanders. So the people that voted for Democrats in 2016 are still going to come out to vote against Trump in 2020. You already have those, those Democratic voters that will come out regardless. But you have to win over the people that did not come out in 2016. The young people, the independents, the typical non-voters, working class voters. That is who Bernie Sanders gets. Bernie Sanders is the most electable candidate by far, and it's not even close. And it also really doesn't show completely in the polling. Even though Bernie's doing very well in polls, there's a recent poll out right now that I may even do a video on where Bernie's up 13 points in Texas. He's just behind Joe Biden by 2 points in Texas. But polling doesn't really... The way that polling is done traditionally, they undersample young voters because young voters don't normally vote. So the way polls work is they want to sample people who are, going to vote. And that's a good way to predict who's going to win. But in the case of Bernie Sanders, it doesn't work like that. And it's similar in the way to how Trump outperformed the polls in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, because a lot of, again, typical non-voters came out to vote for Donald Trump. It's the same thing with Bernie Sanders. You have the young people, you have the typical non-voters. That's not going to show in most polling and head-to-head matchups in these polls, state by state, in especially national polls. It's not going to showcase that. But Bernie will outperform the polls. So he's already doing well. I mean, he's already leading in some national polls. He's leading in Iowa by huge numbers now, New Hampshire by huge numbers, getting up there in even Texas, leading in California. But I don't think it's even showcasing his ability, his full support. Because, like, the hardest part here is winning the primary. Because a lot of states still are closed states or semi-closed. You have to be registered as a Democrat to vote, all that crap. But in a general election, it's opened up. And voters in big numbers can come out regardless of their party affiliation, what they've done. They can come out and vote for the Democratic nominee. So if Bernie gets through the primary and is able to secure the nomination, I mean, look, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I do think the general election against Trump will be a lot easier than winning the primary, simply because of the way it's set up, simply because of the way that many voters are shut out from the primary process. But if he gets through the primary, you're golden. And ads like this are essential to that. I mean, not even just in the primary. This ad needs to be out there during the general election. You have to showcase Bernie's authenticity over the years, him fighting for the same thing forever. I mean, this shows you he is not stuck to either party, not stuck to any certain way of thinking. He is an independent thinker that actually cares about people and is a real fighter. This is what America needs.